All right. There's a big piece of NBA news that I don't necessarily want to write about because I don't know, putting your not your mean thoughts, but your critical thoughts down on paper has a way of biting you in the butt in a way that these clips that no one watches will not. So Donovan Mitchell, good for him, signed a 4-year, $273 million maximum contract extension that includes a player option for 2030 31, which I believe will be his age 34 season. So as of right now, he tore up a player option for 53 million for next season. So he's getting paid the 50.1 million for 2026-27, and then the 4-year, $272 million extension kicks in. So that'll add up to about 273 plus 50, so 300 and wow, $323 million over the next 5 seasons. What Donovan Mitchell will get from the Cleveland Cavaliers, so good for him. Like when players get paid, no issue. Like that's their job, right? That's their agent's job. I do I do want to kind of get this out there though that like I don't know why the Cavs are doing this. Like we've seen what the Donovan Mitchell led Cavaliers can achieve. And it's good regular seasons, winning a playoff series, wheezing your way to the conference finals before getting absolutely shit canned in a season where the field was much weaker than it'll probably be going forward in the Eastern Conference. Mitchell's an interesting player. I had him sixth for my MVP voting, or the top of the second team All NBA, right? He wasn't anywhere close to the first team. I thought the top five guys were like there in bold. He had a really good season. He's a really good player. He's also someone where like it's not that he's bad in the playoffs. It's just like it always seems like his teams aren't particularly good in the playoffs. And is that on him? Are those the teams? I don't know. I do think it is kind of more of a indictment on Mitchell as a player. He's really good, but he's a small shooting guard. Not a great defender, not a bad defender, but not a great defender. Well, no, he's probably a bad defender at this point, right? But he's not like Trae Young. He's not like, oh God, what are we doing here? So there's that. But he's not really a point guard, right? So like he can run offense, but like he's not one of these elite creators in terms of creating stuff for other guys. He's going to look to shoot, going to look to score. He always seems like he's kind of like banged up towards the end of the season. And I just don't know how well he's going to necessarily age. Like he's a really good shooter. He can really create space. His athleticism is really sudden. It's not that he's not a really good player. It's just that based upon the cap projections with his 8% raises from that 35% max that he's getting, that's kicking in 2027-28, that's 61 million to 65.7 to 70.6. That's then 35%, 36%, and then 36.83%. And I would have to imagine that by the time his age 34 season rolls around, he's going to opt into 75 fucking $1 million and 37.49% of the salary cap as a guy who's like maybe an all-star, probably an all-star still, but like almost certainly he's not going to be in the all NBA first team or second team discussion, like maybe third team if he ages quite well. But like once again, that'd be surprise. Like we've seen these smaller ish guards who are relying on explosive athleticism. They just don't fucking age well, and it's just like the reality of the sport. So look, I think this is a situation where the Cavs are like we think the only way to keep him is give him all of this money now. Fair enough. But with Evan Mobley's age, with all the fucking assets they've like shot into the sun, they still have Jared Allen, they still have Donovan Mitchell, they still, they're probably gonna have to extend James Harden. It's just like, I don't know. It's just like they're look, it's not my money, and if they want to spend all this money to have a good team that's probably, maybe can, catch fire like the Knicks did, make a playoff run, make it to the finals, like, sure, like if that's what they're signing up for. I just feel like this is, when you give them that much money with how restrictive the aprons are, with how much they've already spent in terms of assets, and how they're not going to get anything for James Harden when they extend him, if they were to trade him. It's like the only guy they can kind of trade maybe and gets anything back that you maybe want to trade is like Jared Allen. It's just, I feel like they keep locking themselves into this team that's good, but like clearly doesn't have the juice to like get where they want to go. And it's I mean, that's fine. I just, I don't know why I feel like teams' fear of losing players is way too great. Like, if you Donovan Mitchell's like, I want, it's like, basically it's like this. When you extend a player, you are reducing the risk for them. That's what you're giving them. And in the NBA, like in baseball, this is how it works. In football, this is how it like generally works. Football is a little bit different because of like the guaranteed money and holdouts and stuff. In baseball, the way it works is like guys will extend to reduce their risk, and what they give up is they give up some money, right? They're basically saying, hey, like, I'm going to give up some money to guarantee that I get this money. And basketball teams like hardly ever operate that way with these extensions. It's like, oh, like I'll go to free agency and I can go sign with anyone. It's like, cool, but like you've been on the team, like we'd still offer you more years and more money, right? So I just feel like if you're gonna give Donovan Mitchell a massive extension, you don't just actually give him everything. Full no trade kicker, or full trade kicker, 35% max, 8% raises, and on top of that, like um a player option, which I don't think, giving a guy a player option age 34, whatever. It's not like, oh, like we had like he's going to opt into that, or he's going to decline it and then you have to pay him for even more years, maybe a slightly smaller number. But like, you know, this is just another example of an NBA team. Just, I don't know why they always feel like they're being held hostage by these guys. Like Donovan Mitchell's great, but he's not fucking Giannis Antetokounmpo, right? This dude is never going to win an MVP. Never has really come close to winning an MVP. Has I guess he got to a conference finals in a weird year where they wheezed their way through two really brutally bad looking 7-game series against kind of like teams that no one at all believed in as like real playoff teams. And then when they ran into the Knicks, who granted touched God for their playoff run, they got absolutely demolished. Literally and analytically speaking, they got demolished. So yeah, it's like the Cavs are like, if they're cool with this life, maybe they think that, they're going to get LeBron. I don't think LeBron changes their life that much either. They lost Dean Wade. Dean Wade was a good player, good defensive player. LeBron's not as good a defender as Dean Wade anymore. So yeah, it's, I get why teams want to keep these guys and they're scared to lose them. I think they're too scared. Like, couldn't you just be like, hey, 30%, like Jalen Brunson took less money and that's why they were able to win a title. Like, do you want to win a title or you just want to get as much money as possible? Because like the Cavaliers are already spending a stupid amount of money on this roster. Like this isn't a situation where I'm like Dan Gilbert, like bless Dan Gilbert's heart. Like he's one of the best owners in the NBA. That Comic Sans letter to LeBron aside, the dude strokes his check whenever, all day, every day. He will stroke that check, and that's what you want out of an owner. He does that. I don't think he fucks around basketball ops too much. He's like, oh, Donovan Mitchell wants a stupid amount of money. What's it going to cost? Oh, it's going to cost me paying a tax bill. Fuck it, YOLO. Like Dan Gilbert, the GOAT. That's the type of owner you want. Front office needs to also just be like, hey, Dan, like, we know you'll stroke this check. Let us try to, like, keep it in check a little bit. And they didn't do that. They just gave him everything. Like he's good enough to probably get that. But at the same time, it's like, is he good enough to fucking get that a year early for his decline phase? No, like almost no one is. Like the only guys that are gonna be that good are the top 5 guys in the league, and he's not at that level. Because once again, like if Giannis had been healthy, he goes from being like 6 to 7, right? There's all that, always that. All right, so Cavaliers, you're keeping the band together. Don't know if that's the best idea, but Dan Gilbert, you're the man. And the front office, like I just don't see the wisdom in giving, like ask for something, right? Like just like you got to get something like from Donovan Mitchell if you're giving him all that money a year early. All right, there's another bit of news that I think it's not worth writing about because it's all scuttlebutt, sort of. But I do think it's interesting is that Nikola Jokic, this was reported July 6th by Dave McMenamin, who I don't know. I've never met the guy, but he always comes across as a huge fucking douche. Maybe he's not, but like, I mean, he's one of those like, Syracuse alum people who's like, seems like he's got a whiff of his own jockstrap constant. You're like, dude, calm down. You're a fucking sports journalist. Like, get the fuck over yourself. You're not breaking anything in your life that's actually important. Like, seriously, sports journalists, get over yourself. Like, I mean, I take my analysis seriously, but like, I don't think what I do is important. And I'm not even a sports journalist. So, boom. So, anyways, apparently Nikola Jokic has said he would like to stay in Denver. This is going to sound like Giannis Antetokounmpo. He has a desire to stay in Denver, but he'll probably sign his extension next year. Now, last summer when he could have signed the extension and he didn't, everyone's like, of course. The amount of money he could have made, more money he could have signed for on that next extension or by waiting a year was massive. The same principle applies here, but the difference is like the Nuggets kind of feel like they're fading as a team. And look, like this him not signing is going to create, as it should, massive amounts of pressure. I'm just going to say this. If Jokic had the same situation in terms of the player and all that stuff, and his owner was Dan Gilbert, the Nuggets would be one of the most expensive teams in the league, and they'd probably be a bit better, and maybe would have won one more championship. I'm just saying that. The Nuggets have been cheap, and they have functionally wasted Nikola Jokic's prime, and they got one title out of it because he's that level of player, but they completely screwed the pooch. They should have won multiple titles with a player of Jokic's quality, and they did it because they were cheap and they were not aggressive, and they let really good general managers constantly leave because they're like, we can just keep churning those guys. So Jokic is now, I think, rightfully putting his thumb on the scale or a finger on the scale or whatever the fuck the phraseology is there. And there's pressure, whether or not this is intentional, which I would believe probably, whether that's intentional or just like he's like, well, I can get even more money next offseason, so why not? Maybe it's just that. But I really do think this is also a way to, have this get his money and get the team a better team around him. Because if you're the Nuggets and he doesn't sign this, you're on fucking notice. Like you're on really red fucking notice. Like this is 5-alarm fire if you're working in Denver. Even though you can have all of the assurances from his camp till pen on paper, and those years and those dollars are locked in through contract law. Nothing he says fucking matters. It's all about that. And so this is huge. And this might make the Nuggets might do something real cool, might do something real interesting. Maybe they keep doing the shit that they keep doing, which is always seemingly just enough, but never enough. It's like that's kind of how they've been building this team since that Aaron Gordon trade. And look, like they need to just be expensive as shit. Like be as expensive as humanly fucking possible to make this team as good as fucking humanly possible to get Jokic to sign long term, and then you can gut the roster around him. Like I don't give a fuck, but that's what they need to do, and that's hopefully what they will do, and that's hopefully why Jokic is doing this. So yeah, as much as I'm like, oh, like Donovan Mitchell, 35% max, age 34. Like, why would you do that? Jokic, yes, that is like he is that quality of a player. Like even in his decline phase, it's kind of like the LeBron situation where people were like, "Oh man, LeBron's still so good. Like he takes such good care of himself. He's aged so gracefully." I'm like, he has sort of aged gracefully, but it's like generally just like if you are so good at your peak and you age gradually, you're still going to be way better than pretty much everyone in the league like 5 years down the line, right? And that's kind of what Jokic's like peak level. If you look at like win shares or box plus minus for stuff like that, and even these other ones, it's just like he'll have a gradual decline and he'll lose like you know zero point 0.4 BPM every season. But if you do that and you're starting at 12, which he is, like you have a long way to go before you're at 5, and 5 is still a super good player, right? So yeah, it is interesting to me. I kind of just like wish that those two guys were in opposite circumstances. Like I wish Jokic was on a team where the owner was just like, "Oh, stroking checks, let's fucking go. Let's try to win at the highest level." And then kind of like Donovan Mitchell's a guy where I think he'd almost be better if he's on a franchise where they weren't like that, because he's just not that quality of like player where it's just like shooting money into the sun. It's just like it's not only not going to be worth it, it's also gonna kind of hamstring you because like Jokic just solves so many problems that like you spend the money and the shit will work out. Donovan, you kind of like you need to be winning on other you at that money you need to be winning on so many contracts to like really have any chance that it's almost like you might as well just like build like a 45 win team around him and like not spend $1 million and shoot your assets into the sun, right? Like he's just that's the reality of like chasing rings. um Not that I'm saying like that's great for the fans, but like from like an organizational philosophy standpoint, it's like, oh, if Donovan Mitchell's our best player, we're probably not going to win a title. So like, why the fuck would we spend a crazy amount of money? He'd be perfect in Denver. All right, yeah, that's those are like two big pieces of news. There's going to be more news. I'm going to keep trying to pump out the analysis on these free agent trades. Maybe you'll do some draft stuff, but there's just a lot. It's like the NBA, they need to stretch this shit out, man. It's like it's not feasible for humans to digest all this stuff.